Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright's Trials and Tribulations, where after gaining a fair bit of evidence from Gumshoe's testimony, we now are pushing a medication issue. Because with a bag of prescription found, but nothing inside it, that itself is very interesting to us. Why was it not found on the scene of the crime? What was overlooked here? Only moments ago, Mr. Kudo made the following statement. It seems Mr. L correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Trebian. If that's the case, then why was the medication not found at the scene of the crime?
But the medication in question was for topical use inside the ear canal.
Objection!
That doesn't change the fact that it could not be found at the scene of the crime. However insignificant it may seem, it's a lawyer's duty to pursue the truth.
Objection! You know as well as I do that the medication is irrelevant. It hardly seems likely that a prescription drug would contain potassium cyanide.
Objection!
It hardly seems likely that the coffee the waitress served would contain it either. But it did. The possibility is undeniable.
Ah! That's enough. Mr. Kudo, is the detective the only witness the prosecution wishes to call? Mr. Kudo? I've got my own witness I'd like to call, sir. It's the old man who was there in the restaurant on the day of the murder.
Victor Kudo, the pigeon hater? I can't even remember exactly what old inflection I gave him.
Very well. The matter of the disappearing medication seems little more than trivial at best. However, it wasn't explored at all in the previous trial, and that is something that bothers me.
Yay, good job, Nick!
The court will adjourn for a 10-minute recess, after which we will hear the prosecution's next witness and will try to fix Kudo, who seems to have been on meltdown. Ha! I suppose this means I'll just have to finish you off in my last 6 cups. Court is adjourned for recess.
Well, I'm glad that it is. Let's all take a rest and realise, well, Gumshoe's done. We've got ourselves a ton of evidence to play with. What are we doing with it? Phew, that was close. Tell me about it. I nearly died in there. That's my line, sir. No, it's my line. I think I really did die a little bit. Looks like we all nearly died in there. I can't believe Detective Gumshoe. How could he betray us like that? Huh? He said he'd help me, but he totally set me up. I don't think he meant to do that, Maggey. He was backed into a corner. I mean, the guy's got to do his job, right? Yeah, he pretty much does have to do his job. The truth is part of it. It's okay. I know all about lies and betrayal. I've had them my whole life. But it really hurt this time. It felt like someone punched me hard in the stomach. I hate that guy. I don't want to see him again. Poor Gumshoe. Especially because you're the lady of his dreams. So the next witness is going to be that old guy from the park, right? Yeah, Mr. Kudo, lover of waitress outfits and projectile seeds. I bet he's going to be really stubborn. I mean, he's pretty set in his ways, you know. Yeah, he's a big old grouch. Are you going to be able to handle him, Nick? Yeah, I can take whatever he throws at me. Even those never-ending bird seeds. It's in my eye! Ah! Case dismissed based on injuring the defendant's lawyer. Saved that then, didn't I? No, not really. As we head back into court. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggey Baird. Mr. Kudo, your next witness, please. The prosecution calls the lucky old-timer who caught the show over a cup of coffee. Sorry, he had a voice moment at that time. Will the witness please take the stand? Without coffee. He needs coffee to refuel his voice. Name and occupation if you don't mind. Her name is Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun. Honor and duty are what make me. Mind you, I can be quite emotional at times too. We don't need to hear about that, Mr. Kudo. Just tell the court your occupation. My occupation? Listen, young'un. How much cool do you think there is for kimono embroidery here? That's a weird sentence. It's perfectly correct. Kimono embroidery? That's what I do, or did, back in Japan. I embroidered family crests on kimonos. My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before this country even existed. Wow, real craftsmen. They're a dying breed. Hey, maybe you could embroider my costume sometime. Anyway, like I said, there's not much demand for that kind of thing here. So I had to take a job working the cash register at a burger joint, pretending to smile. That burger joint would have been better off putting him in the kitchen. And now then, witness, were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident? Oh yes, I was eating some seeds over a cup of cappuccino. Seeds?
What do you think these are?
They're a youth repellent device.
Get away, youth! I have seeds! Seeds are youth too, but they'll never grow. If I throw them on concrete. I see.
So you saw everything that happened, Gramps?
Did I? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I did. I saw it all.
Then please, tell the court. We're all ears.
Sure. I'll tell you every last detail.
He's really getting into this. Voice continuity-wise, I'm probably failing here. But we'll go with it. He seems energetic today, after all.
The young man was reading the sports paper. The serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it.
Doesn't look like Maggey, anyway.
The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, and then collapsed. That's the serving girl, right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
Her hair does not fit.
Mr. Kudo, she is not a serving girl. Please refer to her as a waitress. Car, you're as bad as the rest of them. All these newfangled words? What's wrong with old-fashioned ones? Newfangled? All this talk of radios and glasses, it's wireless and spectacled, I tell you. Excuse me. Listen to me, everyone. Don't forget the old values. Don't let the good old days slip away. Well, I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor. I feel like one old man's voice is messing with my judge's voice. It's messing. Well, what did you witness, sir? In your own booth that couldn't be seen, etc., etc.
The young man was reading the sports paper, was he now?
So you saw the victim, then? You saw Mr. Glenelg?
I wanted to know if Guts and Braun retained his championship or not.
So he was looking at the sports paper the victim was reading, huh? And the location in question. Yeah, exactly. There are partitions between tables on the same side of the restaurant, right?
So what if there are?
If you say that you could see the victim, that means you were sitting at a table on the other side of the restaurant, correct?
Ka! I go to that place to drink Javachino. I don't go to sit. I don't remember which table I was sitting at.
You mean you go there to either Waitress?
Exactly. A serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it.
Hold it.
Milk? Sugar? Sweetener? Mr. Kudo, that's a very grave accusation. Are you sure about what you saw?
Victor Kudo never makes mistakes. I dot every T and cross every I.
Yeah, that's the wrong way around. I see.
My eyesight's fine. The doctor said I only need spectacles for reading and driving.
I bet his eyes are only really fine when he's scoping out a Waitress.
And I saw what the serving girl put into the Javachino as well.
I bet I know what's coming up, and something tells me I'm not gonna like it. What's the point in pressing harder? Well, to be honest, we could just go with the sugar argument, if Phoenix is clever enough. Your Honor, we need more clarification on what was put into the victim's coffee. It's definitely what I'd say. I'd like to ask what the witness... That the witness had, not what the witness had. What? That he knows about this to his testimony. Sure. Sugar. It's basically where my brain's gone now, is where this conversation logic train is going to go, because that's what I'd come back with, and if it doesn't, then it's going to be crazy.
I agree. Witness, will you enlighten us, please? Sure. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there.
Come on, sugar. Well, actually, sweetener would be more powdery, isn't it? Did she really put that into the coffee?
You doubt me, boy! She took some out of the small brown bottle and sprinkled it in.
Couldn't she have been adding sugar? There! Hooray!
Sugar in a small brown bottle like that?
Well, you know, people can contain things in anything they like.
Like that? Witness, could you please describe the bottle in more concrete terms?
A bottle like this, perhaps?
Oh, there it is! That's the one! That's the bottle of potassium cyanide, I presume.
So what did the accused put into the coffee? I think it's clear, don't you?
The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, and then collapsed. That's the serving girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
Well, no, we need to actually, like, do stuff here.
Hold it.
Press more.
He took just one sip?
You young'uns, you waste everything. Those Javachinos cost $8. In the good old days, you're being price gouged, by the way. We would have drank every last drop in the cup and then died.
Congratulations. You have earned the title of Battiest Man to grace the courtroom. So it was an immediate death.
Well, with potassium cyanide, I suppose that is possible.
I'm going a bit mental.
Oh yes, he slumped over without so much as a twitch. I felt the Javaturno I just drank turned sour in my stomach.
Yeah, it would actually, to be honest. I'd feel sick.
Oh yes, I know that feeling.
You need to go to the loo after that.
And the waitress, I presume she is. That's the serving girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
Do you now? You said I remember her well in reference to the waitress. Did she have any particular features that you can identify her by?
Particular features? It's a disgrace, that's what it is, what?
Sorry?
You can see all the way up to her, you know! Derriere, she's practically naked in that uniform!
So the particular feature you recognize about the waitress is her outfit? But anyone could wear just such a uniform, even me! I'd look fabulous!
Mr. Wright, please spare the court of any further mental anguish from that image.
Don't get all excited, Nick. You've got to keep yourself together. I guess I got a bit carried away.
Ha! There are other things I recognize about it too.
He seems pretty sure of himself. What should I do? Well, ask more. By pressing harder, we get more contradictions, hopefully. Sure, you saw a waitress take the coffee over to the victim. But what matters is whether that waitress was Maggey Bird or not.
Quite right. And Mr. Kudo, those other features that you recognize about the defendant, I would ask you to add them to your testimony. Sure. There was a ribbon in her hair and her apron straps were loose.
Hold it! That sounds like you're looking at it from the back. You do seem to remember several details about her appearance, unless she's got really long things, because I've got a penny for cooking whenever I, actually need to use one. And I can't get it, to go around the back properly. I have to bring it around the front and tie it there, because the things are so long. Maybe it's like that. Yeah. You do seem to remember several details about her appearance. But what about the most crucial detail of all? Her face.
Ka! As if I wouldn't remember that!
Objection!
The witness noticed the straps on the accused apron. He's unlikely to make a mistake about her face. That's right! I can't even tell you the color of the ribbon in her hair. It was red! So you see, there's nothing wrong with the witness's eyesight.
There's no doubt he remembers the waitress pretty well. What should I do? I get the feeling there's something more to this somehow. Well, then press harder then! Or more to the point, considering that's an option, that's the view she got, wasn't it? Especially because it showed in that picture before. The identifying features picture there you described are all things you would see from the back. And that picture has to be important itself. More to the point, we can see that it was tied at the back.
So what?
Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front at all?
Objection!
Ha! He's got you there, Gramps.
People normally talk about facial features when they're asked to describe someone. But this witness's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons. Basically, it's a uniform, not a person.
This is harassment! I tell you I'm not obsessed with straps or ribbons! I'm just telling you what I saw!
We know what you're obsessed with.
Mr. Kudo, the court requested you add details about any identifying features. Features you observe from the front, that is, to your testimony. Sure.
This old man's testimony is getting longer and longer. It is. And if I can't find a hole in this soon, it'll get even longer, I bet.
There wasn't anything that caught my interest about it when I saw it from the front.
Really? Hold it! You didn't find anything to be distinct, but you did clearly see the witness's face, yes?
No question about it! I didn't come this far to back down now. Victor Kudo never backs down!
That's not the answer I was looking for, but okay. This has turned into a matter of pride for LCE now, I guess. I wonder if he really did see Maggie's face or not. No, he definitely didn't. Like I thought, we need some concrete proof. Proof that the old guy didn't see the waitress clearly from the front. Do you think old CD really saw Maggey do it? Well, he probably had his eye on the waitress the whole time. That's why he was there. But he was there for the cute outfits, right? Not the waitress. I guess. She makes a good point, though. Hey, did I just say something clever? I wonder if the waitress Mr. Kudo saw really was Maggey. That's what we have to figure out, Nick. No, it wasn't. And I know what's proving it here. I just gotta make sure I don't go too far forward. There we go. Nothing caught your interest when I saw you from the front. Well, look at all these stains and stuff. Objection!
Objection!
Mr. Kudo, I would like you to please take a look at this. Ka!
That filthy thing would suit filth like you just perfectly.
What? Nice. But you obviously are just seeing that, otherwise you'd complain about it.
Actually, it reminds me of what my grandson looks like just after he's done eating.
Is he very, very, very young? Have you ever seen this before?
Of course I haven't. Do you think I'd forget something as dirty as that? Well, you half-witted clot! The youth repellent! It's coming! Run away, everyone!
Everyone clicked off the video because of the youth repellent.
What? What is it? Ever since I said you half-witted clot, there's been an eerie silence in here.
Mr. Kudo, this apron is the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning.
Ah?
And as you just said yourself, you wouldn't forget something like this. Which means, if you had really seen this apron before... Yes, you know what I'm getting at. You couldn't have possibly seen the waitress from the front.
Oops.
That's all he said. Oops.
Just oops. Witness, you can't just oops your way out of this. I agree with the judge for once.
Ha. Well, well. Looks like we finally have a genuine trial on our hands. Coffee to the hands too. Listen, Trite. Here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant.
And that being the defendant, Miss Maggey Baird?
Exactly. And when that one waitress put the poison into the coffee cup, this old guy was watching.
I hope you understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Kudo. The fate of the defendant may rest on what you remember seeing.
Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps.
You can rely on me, Captain. My noggin is in perfect working order. I can't remember a single occasion when I forgot what burger a customer wanted.
He can't remember? Probably more like he messed up so many times he's blocking it out.
Very well. Let's just test how good your memory and attention to detail is, Mr. Kudo. Tell us what you remember about the victim. Here was another of those pesky younger types, wearing a broken pair of spectacles. He had a newspaper in his right hand and the noisy brat kept rustling his pages. The young man was listening to the wireless. I remember that well. Then the serving girl in question poured over the Javicino. The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip. The testimony we have just heard was to test how credible the witness's memory is. It seems to me that he remembers the victim in a great deal of detail. Oh yes, I hate those you-know-what types who are so vague about everything.
How are we going to handle this, Nick? We only need to do one thing. We just need to prove that the old man's memory is shot. Just trip him up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel? I suppose, but it's what I do best. Press, press, press by the sound of it again, then. There's some very specific details, which means that something's going to flop easily. A broken pair of spectacles. Well, for starters, he wasn't. He was wearing a scouter. His power level, you know, of the coffee. Spectacles?
Dark louse stew. One of the lenses was green, but the other was broken. It just didn't exist. Newfangled rubbish. That's why I remember him so well.
He did have some kind of lens over his left eye. It's kind of a blue, though. Turquoise, maybe? But I wouldn't have called it a pair of glasses.
He seems to have been wearing some rather modern-looking shades. Perhaps I should take to wearing some and rifle Mr. Kudo's sharp appearance.
Ah, we better come up with something sharp and quick. Guess I'll wait and see if I should challenge him about the spectacles.
He had a newspaper in his right hand, the noisy brat kept rustling his pages.
Obviously he didn't have that, but we'll wait and see. The newspaper was a sports paper, was it?
That young hooligan! I nearly asked him, can you even read without fidgeting? How was I supposed to be able to read the back page with all that rustling going on? I need to find out if Guts and Brawn retained his championship title.
It was his paper, not yours. If you want to know so bad, why didn't you buy your own?
What are you looking at me like that for? How dare you touch me? Run! Ow, ow!
Gus and Brawn got beaten yesterday, by the way. Anyway, poor Gus and Brawn.
The young man was listening to the wireless. I remember that well.
The wireless?
The decadent young rascal. In my day, it was one or the other. Read the paper or listen to the wireless.
Oh boy.
And using an earpiece. It's selfish, that's what it is. I was straining my ears, but I couldn't catch any of it.
Was he that desperate to listen to the radio and read his paper?
What are you looking at me like that for? How dare you feel sorry for me? Ow, ow!
Looks like Deku seeds.
Then the servant girl under the question brought over the Javachino.
Hold it!
You mean the waitress you only saw from behind, right?
You're one of those, are you? You never let anything go, isn't that right?
Maybe.
What does it matter if I saw it from the front or from behind? My eyes don't lie! Ow, ow!
I better not push it until I've got some hard evidence. I'm gonna end up with welts or something.
The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip.
Hold it!
Well, there's something in these statements. His free hand?
Yes.
Which hand was that?
Weren't you listening before, cloth ears? I said he was rustling the newspaper with his right hand, didn't I? If his free hand wasn't his right hand, then which hand was it, you moron? Ow, ow!
Ha! Perhaps the great Mr. Trite has free hands. Maybe he does. Yeesh, I was only asking. No need to gang up on me and treat me like a freak. The whole point of this cross-examination is to establish just one thing. This old guy's memory is more holes than a slice of Swiss. I guess we just need to find a contradiction in his testimony somewhere, huh? Anything will do, even the smallest detail. We just need one mistake, and he's ours. Right, well that said, it's either something to do with the fact that it's not a broken pair of spectacles, of course. I don't know, where's let's just move along a bit. So there's a sports paper there. Doodles in the victim's handwriting. He's holding the paper in his... Who's holding the paper, wasn't he? Right, well, there's a lot of things to check out. Well, we gotta find the inconsistency. Where are we looking at? Nothing says it's got his hand on it. Which then begs the question, what am I looking for? Well, I guess I'll look through the list here. And see what else I can see. Maybe revealing something we need. Maybe it's in the autopsy report, I don't know. We can't check it anyway. Oh! What am I pressing? Am I maybe just checking out his face and just saying, well, this is not a pair of glasses for starters? I think so. We'll find out next time on Phoenix Wright, as I'm slightly confused. Bye-bye.